The respectability is so much harsher for Black people. Like, it's never seen as being creative, it's not enough, it's never seen as being unique. But when Billie Eilish want to do it, it's like it's the epitome of creative. It's like it's subversive, it's edgy. If you view Blackness as edgy, that's only going to make it hard for Black people, because you will always be dipping in and out of the culture, and you also see Blackness as like a masculine thing. So it's really hard for people to decouple Blackness and masculinity, which also falls hard on people who aren't men.
Sometimes it don't make no sense. Does it really have to? There is nothing I can say.
Hi, welcome to Mayowa's World. Hi y'all, my name is Mayowa. On my platform, I talk about colorism, featureism, desirability, Black erasure. Today we are going to talk about something I've noticed in mainstream media, especially in lesbian/queer spaces. I am posing a question. So people online have been bringing up the fact that Billie Eilish is turning herself into a Black man, and we're trying to understand why. And when I say turning herself into a Black man, I don't mean gender-wise, I mean aesthetics, right? I personally feel like Billie Eilish is turning herself into 2006 Soulja Boy. But I think there's a reason as to why, and we're gonna get into the reason as to why. So Billie Eilish is a young pop star who has made some really popular songs that maybe you guys have heard in passing. I think recently, a year ago, Billie Eilish came out as queer. I'm not sure if she's bisexual or a lesbian. I don't really know. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. You know, people are noticing, or there's like a very noticeable difference between how her style has evolved and how now she's wearing clothes that's very popular within Black culture. And to some people, they view this phase as an exploration phase, but I always ask the question as to why is Black culture seen as an exploration for people? Like, why is Black culture always the thing that people are trying to like adorn to figure themselves out? Why are we constantly used as like the backboard or the drawing board for your come up? And I say this too, as like, I grew up during the Snap era, aka the Soulja Boy era. And I know this aesthetic very well. Yeah, like I listen to Watch Me Crank That Batman. I know exactly what I'm looking at. Some people would say like, oh, it's just like, why would you judge her? She doesn't want to show her body. She's trying to cover up her body. She's trying to like, mask like, her figure. Babe, yes, like I'm very aware that she's trying to mask her figure, but the thing is that y'all didn't used to dress like this. That's what always gets me about this conversation. I don't know if y'all watched the L Word, but whatever happened to wanting to look like Shane? Back in 2006, white lesbians was not looking like Soulja Boy. They was not. They was looking like the L Word. They was looking like Shane. They was looking like that was the aesthetic. It was giving kind of like the Abercrombie and Finchy look with the hair. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some of them was in the emo phase. That was the aesthetic of the past, right? I know studs very well, right? Like, I feel like this is stud fishing. A stud is a Black mask person, right? So they was maybe the ones, back in the 2006, 2000 era, studs were the ones who were also wearing the big baggy clothes and the big baggy pants, like we've seen it. And even people who are not queer, like I remember, is this washed out? Oof, let me back up a bit. Even you have some images of what's the group that Candy was in? Just Kick It. Them. They used to wear the baggy clothes. You know what I'm saying? It's always been something that's like an aesthetic within Blackness. It's so interesting too, because growing up, I grew up in Atlanta, I grew up in the South. I didn't see, I felt like things were very divided in terms of how our fashion senses was. Like, I feel like what the L Word girls were doing was very different than what, Studville TV. Like, it was like our media was very different. Our fashion was very different. Even with her wearing these big baggy clothes and these like baggy pants and the hat to the side, it just really gets me, because we were literally criminalized for looking like that. We were literally like, I remember back in the day around like 05, 06, there was so much marketing telling us that if your pants are sagging, it's like, people would be like, oh, this is like a sign that you're gonna go to jail or that you're like a criminal.
Black people, if you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing. Here's number 5. And if this doesn't apply to you, if you're not doing this, then it doesn't apply to you. I'm not talking about you. Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. Walking around with your ass and your underwear showing is not okay. In fact, it comes from prison when they take away belts from the prisoner so that...
I remember people saying, why do you have such big shirts? You guys need to like wear your shorts shorter. Your shirt's shorter. And I went to an HBCU or whatever, and I remember when Bill Cosby like had so much to say about people who wear like baggy clothes and how like it's criminal and how they want to see people wear suits and ties and da da da. Like there was so much shaming around looking like this. You know what I mean? Like when it came, people would be like, you can't get a job looking like that, you can't work, you know, you're looking like, it was just so criminalized. So now to see people wear it and like it's seen as edgy and alternative and seen as like, oh well, she just doesn't want to show her body. Well, what about when we were doing it? There was never so much softness given when we were doing it. I didn't see that the same people who are advocating for Billie to be able to wear that because it's helping her with her gender identity. I don't see anybody that was arguing for us back then. People were saying that it was criminal. So I grew up also seeing sometimes like some people did try to adorn Black culture growing up, or they used to act like they used to be in Black spaces and be like, no, I'm about this life, da 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 da, but they really was never about it. And I don't know, I look back, like I look on Facebook and I see the people who I went to school with that used to pretend to be, you know, down for Black people, da da da. Why are they Trump voters now? And I don't know what it is about when people turn 26, but it's like they transition out of trying to blackfish. They stop trying to stud fishing. They like suddenly want to go back to being white fully. And I don't know if it's because that's when their health insurance runs up and that's when they kind of get their life together here in America. Like they're no longer on their parents' health insurance. They have to get their own jobs and stuff. But people usually drop that. Like I don't see anybody who's like 70 and they're still adorning Black culture the way they was back in the day. Like it's very much so a come up. It's very much so to get access to things, to get opportunities. Is this washing me out? I'm worried. And, you know, we've seen this with like Miley Cyrus, Post Malone, Gwen Stefani. Like, I really bet y'all the next album, Billie Eilish, after her little blackface, she's probably gonna make an album that's like Black, a lot of hip hop influence, whatever. When she finishes that album, the next thing is gonna be country music. They love doing this blackfishing, and then the next one is gonna be like a country album or something. Like it's like, watch, you know what I mean? So yeah, it always annoys me when I see people who aren't Black, they're able to get away with, you know, adorning Black culture and getting access to it and, you know, looking cool in it. It's so fascinating to me that it's actually just the person not being Black that makes it interesting. Like, because growing up, people who used to look like, dress like Soulja Boy and dress like these 2004, you know, the Black aesthetic in the South, that stuff was very much so looked down upon. Even people from different coasts would look at it and be like, that is such a, you know, that is not fashion, that is not high fashion. And then now, like, the high fashion is stuff like that. But I encourage her to get to her roots. I encourage her to watch The L Word. I encourage her to watch Lost and Delirious. I encourage her to watch, I don't know, I can't think of that many lesbian TV shows that had them back in the day, but I encourage her to look more into that aesthetic, you know what I mean? Like the kind of Jeffree Star-ish, you know what I mean? That era. And pull from her roots, you know what I'm saying? She don't need to come over and dress like that. I don't think I think it looks unserious. I've also heard elders say that don't slit your eyebrows, like you look like you're gang affiliated. Like all those eyebrow slits, the fade, the haircuts, how we used to cut our hair, wearing big, like the shoes, the Air Force Ones, all that stuff was very much so looked down upon. Like the respectability is so much harsher for Black people. Like it's never seen as being creative, it's not enough, it's never seen as being unique. But when Billie Eilish want to do it, it's like it's the epitome of creative. It's like it's subversive, it's edgy. If you view Blackness as edgy, that's only going to make it hard for Black people because you will always be dipping in and out of the culture, and you also see Blackness as like a masculine thing, so it's really hard for people to decouple Blackness and masculinity, which also falls hard on people who aren't men. So I don't like it. And yeah, it's just a little thing, like, please babe, like go do your white lesbian history and pull up some of them, you know what I mean? Get that on the mood board. I would love to see a Shane Dawson, Shane from the L Word revamp, you know what I mean? Like, be true to you. Be real to yourself. And sometimes I feel like white mask lesbians, they feel like they can get a pass because they have like one intersection or whatever. They have like the queerness or something. It's not the same. Like it's not a pass. It's still cultural appropriation. You're just gay. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Stick to what you know. Be you, be true. I hope she comes out of that transition very soon. Yeah, and also y'all, again, get the tickets to Warmer Shades. Get the tickets to see my show. It's going to be a cabaret. It is a cabaret for dark-skinned performers. I'm going to be doing stand-up comedy. We're going to be having people do burlesque. It's going to be a very nice show. It's on September 1st, which is during Black Gay Pride weekend. Hope to see you there. Bye.